as mentioned earlier, we have a lot of interest in the startup ecosystem in Ethiopia and other parts of Africa as well. Let me now invite our moderator. Please come up on stage. Solomon Tadese is the country director of the Digital Opportunity Trust. Solomon, will you please come up on stage? And joining him will be our three panelists, Brooke Ashelo, who is the president of the Enderase Youth Association. Baruch, please come up on stage. We also have Abi Tadese Bile, head of the Innobiz Ethiopia Incubation Center from Munt. Abi, will you also please come up on stage? And finally, Maseret Werner, CEO and founder of Ignite Investment. May I invite all of you to please come up on stage. So, a round of applause, please, for a very innovative session now on startup ecosystems. The future of innovation, the future of ICTs in Africa will be driven by the next wave of the young entrepreneurs of Africa. So, joining Solomon will be Birik, Abi, and Meseret. So, Solomon, over to you. You have about 45 minutes for this panel, which is a good amount of time to go through all the various issues and challenges that have been discussed. So, a big round of applause, please, out for our speakers in this session on startup ecosystems. Thank you, Solomon. Over to you.
Thank you. This session is about startup ecosystem, and we have three panelists here. Baruch Chalo, president of Enderase Youth Association. Abi Tadese Belai, head of Innobiz K Ethiopia Incubator Center, and Maseret Werner, CEO of and founder of Ignite Investment. Thank you. Today's session objective is to explore opportunities and challenge facing the startup ecosystem. Having said this, the first question to Baruch, what do you see as the biggest opportunity facing startup founders today?
Hello. Thank you, Solomon. It's a great pleasure to be here. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Baruch Chalo, founder and president at the Youth Association. Just to share some about our association, it's a local international perspective in which we empower young innovators, youth leaders from here to across the regions, not only in Addis, but across Ethiopia. Enderase is an Amharic word which means representative or ambassador. So we are to work as ambassador representative for users with untapped potential in enlightening, empowering, and exposing their abilities to their purpose and to their aim. So when I see this question, I see that what is the smallest opportunity? Because in today's 21st century, there is a lot of opportunities that we can access. There is a lot of untapped privileges that young innovators and startups can access. First of all, I can start from I just mentioned like the IIL, which is the first one, is the internet. It's an internet world. It's an internet time where anyone can access from he's very far from city place to around the world. He can access, he can connect with anyone from any corner of the world. So I think internet is the biggest access that startups, innovators can use to scale up their innovation, to scale up their ideas into tangible products and into some meaningful impacts. And we can demonstrate this from our different trainings, different users who engage with us as a startup ecosystem player. The second one is the information access that we have. There is a lot of information access nowadays in the world. We can change that to the meaningful way in which we can express what we have and contribute to the ecosystem and also to solve problems, to change challenges to good changes and impact the life of the society. The last not the least, what I believe is networking. Such kind of programs, events are happening all over across the world, not only here in Addis, but different parts of Africa, different parts of also Ethiopia. such kind of seminars, programs, and events can be used as opportunity to scale up their ideas and to implement what they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Abi, as one of the ecosystem players and incubator, where do you see the low-hanging fruits for startups? And what are the biggest challenge they are facing? When we say startups, I think we're referring the opportunity-driven or innovative startups.
Thank you, Solomon, for having me. My name is Abi. I am from Innobiz. Innobiz is just an abbreviation for innovation business. It's a national public incubation center. It's under Ministry of Innovation and Technology. So we are working primarily for post-revenue startups, like acceleration programs. Then in the secondary layer, we are working in incubation. The programs may take around like up to 1.5 years. It's not just a week bootcamp or something. We are like following the global metrics to ensure the existence of the companies after passing the program. When to answer the question, uh, the global startup opportunities are different across industries, geographical locations, and the as well as the innovation like the advanced technologies. So when we see, for example, education tech, now after COVID-19, the global like education system is changing into online like platform basis. So startups may utilize this opportunity, especially in Africa. The most of the population is underserved, so they can utilize different opportunities. For example, in tech, when we see fintech startups, for example, the mobile penetration, internet connectivity will lead startups to see like to nurture the seamless transactions since the customer psychography changed into like simple and seamless transactions and like the life of quality is changed, then they want to act as a leader in the existing opportunity. When we see like agritech, the backbone of Africa's is agriculture. So most startups may have a chance to invest and dedicate on the precision farming, supply chain management systems. So for each sector, we have different like opportunities in the sector and in the continent as well. Since most of the economies are not transformed into digital and we are following like the traditional like methods, so education and others barriers may face in the tough hangings. So we may have a chance on the startups, different sectors, but when we see the challenges, we have like the gap in the user skill. Some of the companies have idea, but they are like searching business co-founders. So in the AI, blockchain, and other like emerging technologies, we need to have the users and early stage financing also a challenge in Africa since the investment readiness of the ideas and even the incubation centers are not that much mature. So VCs are not like willing to invest directly in the early stage phases and also infrastructure in the continent. There is no digital infrastructure, so we may have like obstacle in the connectivity, free co-working spaces for startups. So these are the challenges in the path slogans. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, innovative startups. Yeah, they have ample opportunity in terms of technology. Even the challenge that we are facing, it's an opportunity for them to turn it to an investment opportunity, finding a solution. Uh, in terms of challenge, skills and finance and infrastructures are mentioned. Just from investment perspective, Masarat, what impacts have had the uh, finance sectors in terms of supporting the startup ecosystem? And what stories can you tell us about your impact?
Can I borrow? Yeah. Just a little bit background about myself. Ignite Investment is a growth accelerator and Ethiopia's first equity crowdfunding platform. And I'm sure everybody heard about the sandbox and capital markets, which we all are really excited about. Ethiopia is making a lot of progress that we have been always talking about access to finance, and hopefully this will make progress. As Ignite, we have been doing the processing to be part of the sandbox. And I can only say up to the final stage that we are with the Capital Markets Authority, and that hopefully will make also a difference. But that's all I can say. It's confidential. Um, of course, investment is a key. Every startup starts with family friends around, and that quickly goes away. And we all are scrambling to get money, access to market, access to scaling up. I will start from the good news. In 2021, Africa for the first time had raised about I think 5.1 billion dollars for the first time, raising venture capital. Of course, I'm sure most of you know what the Big Four has taken the lion's share of that: Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt, and South Africa. Um, I think digging deep into that also tells a little bit of a story. And we all have talked about it. Non Africans serving the African market actually also took the lion's share, but that doesn't take away from the success stories. Everybody knows about Flutter Wave becoming Africa's first unicorn, has reached the $1 billion valuation, and we have got a lot of amazing stories throughout Africa. I think mostly, like I said, the four countries. Nigeria has been getting Andela and others. I think there are about 6 unicorns in Africa who have reached the $1 billion valuation mark. So those are all good story in Africa, but that's where it stops. Really, there are thousands of startups that are not being scaled up because of the very low access to finance. And especially here in Ethiopia, I think we're missing really the boat from that 5.1 billion. I think Ethiopia is in about like 10 million mark. So we've got a million things to do to be able to actually get a share, because we're the second biggest population, have amazing opportunities, and we still have a lot of startups that are coming up. And like everybody said just before our panel, talked about the fintech space and agri tech, healthcare, med tech, you name it, ed tech, and in even a lot of other startups, like you mentioned, that are taking advantage and scaling up and growing, taking taking the challenges of Africa by the horn and making them opportunities. So we as Ignite are hoping that with the equity crowdfunding platform, accessing the Africa's potential to be a very small ticket investors. Look at you all. If there are 100 people here, for example, and if each one of us invest $1,000, that's $100,000 just like that, where we can finance the next, maybe not unicorn, but the next few $1 million startup. So we are really hopeful things will be unlocking. And there has been progress throughout other African countries that Ethiopia and others can actually also take lessons and make progress.
Thank you. Abi, uh, as enablers like incubators and makerspace, their role is vital in supporting the startup ecosystem. Uh, how are they contributing in the growth of the startup uh, funders, and how could we scale it up? What do you suggest to scale up their impact?
Okay, thank you once again. Regarding to the incubators and accelerator, uh, like in the startup ecosystem, as you know, we have like more than four components. One of that is the ecosystem builders. So most of incubators need to have a program that will ensure that the design of the program will give us the required companies, or that will ensure the existence of the companies instead of counting the number of rounds that they executed. Their KPI should be like the number of product and services finally that they obtain after like piloting their programs. So mostly the quality of the companies and their valuation will depend on the process they pass. So the incubators and the accelerators need to know the science behind the startups and the phases as well. And they need to like have the proper toolkit for each programs, and they should to design like innovate like co-founders program that will pipeline them into like incubation programs. After that, it will continue into acceleration programs. So they should to have like a designated like mentors and coaching with the required amount of expertise in the area. So beyond that, the incubators and accelerator need to collaborate with universities. Universities have like a single component of the startup ecosystem. There are a lot of researches, they need to be commercialized. So universities are like working strongly up to the MVP, minimum viable product. But after that, the incubators and accelerator need to collaborate with them and check do the products are market fit or not, then they should to work on the commercialization, because the marketing and other aspect of the sector is a bit tough. So they should collaborate on that, and they should work with the public private partnership. Like as you know, in Africa, beyond the private sector, the government is more rich. So the government have power to finance and support the ecosystem. So